Welcome to Screen Recap, your shortcut to movie magic. We break down the best films in minutes, keeping it fast, fun, and packed with all the essentials. Our movie begins a long time ago on the outskirts of China. A group of Mongolian warriors chased Commander William and his men. The commander told them to cut the horses' ropes to scatter them and boast to the Mongolians. Then they fled. At night, they returned to rest from what had happened throughout the day, and here came the surprise. They were killers and mercenaries, and they came in search of something called the mysterious black powder. Their journey was very difficult from the start, and they lost more than 20 of their men. They were left with only a few weapons and food, and fate turned against them when they decided to return. A monster attacked them in the darkness, killing the rest of their men, leaving only William and his companion Tovar. The monster attacked William and his companion again, but William struck the monster and cut off its hand. They didn't know who this monster they had killed was. William and his companion decided to leave quickly, as it was clear that the camp was no longer safe after what had happened. They continued their journey the next day, and unfortunately they encountered the Mongolians attacking them again. Of course, this made them flee. As they ran from the Mongolians who were chasing them, William and his companion eventually reached the Great Wall of China. Suddenly, a barrage of arrows rained down on them, stopping them in their tracks. They had few options left, either surrender to the Chinese or be captured by the Mongolians. The leaders of the Great Wall were shocked when they saw the monster's arm that William had cut off. William responded, saying he had killed a monster. When William said this, they laughed at him and didn't believe him. But someone named Wang, their strategist, said their words might be true because he noticed their clothes were covered in the monster's blood. Before they could decide what to do with William and his companion, a scout reported an attack by a large number of monsters on the wall. General Shao ordered preparations for battle. Quickly, William and his companion were tied up against the wall, and the army began preparing for battle with a large number of soldiers wearing armor. William was astonished when he saw the army and its organization, with each group having a different mission, distinguished by the colors of their clothing. There was a group dressed in blue, led by Lin, consisting only of women. They walked along the edge of the wall, preparing for war with spears. All the warriors and soldiers waited for the enemies. From afar, they noticed a large number of monsters approaching. They were ordered to attack quickly with artillery, firing fireballs into the air. At the same time, they began shooting arrows at the monsters, covering the sky and killing many of them. The monsters screamed loudly as a massive wave of arrows covered the sky, killing a large number of them. Despite the heavy arrow fire, the monsters continued to approach the wall. At the same time, the women descended and attacked the monsters with large spears. Despite the strength of the women's team, unfortunately, the monsters killed and devoured some of them alive. The queen of the monsters approached with her guards to win the battle. Wang saw the queen and asked the general to order the artillery to fire at her, but the guards managed to deflect the fire and protect her. The queen screamed loudly at the monsters, communicating with them through sound waves. She ordered them to change their fighting strategy, using their bodies to climb the wall. The monsters managed to climb the wall very quickly, beginning to attack the soldiers and throwing them off the wall with great force. Meanwhile, William tried to free himself and Tovar after witnessing the monsters' assault on the soldiers, but surprisingly, a foreigner named Ballard freed them. At that moment, a young soldier named Peng saw his comrades being killed. Despite his fear of the monster, he attacked it, but unfortunately the monster struck him. Before Peng could be killed by the monster, William leapt into the air and struck the monster with a spear. The monster grew very angry and tried to attack William, but William managed to strike it again, with the help of his companion Tovar. The two of them managed to kill the monster with a powerful blow to its heart. Tovar waved a red flag to attract the monster's attention to William, allowing him to shoot it with an arrow and kill it. When the queen saw a large number of her monsters dying, she communicated with them using sound waves, ordering them to retreat. The monsters withdrew, carrying their dead with them, leaving humans with no knowledge of them. The Chinese leaders approached William and Tovar after the victory and after their assistance to the soldiers in the battle. William and Tovar threw their weapons to the ground to show respect. General Shao thanked them and decided to grant them their freedom instead of imprisoning them. Afterward, the soldier Peng thanked William for saving his life. They then met the man who had freed them earlier, who revealed that he had also been searching for the black powder for 25 years. He had been imprisoned and worked as an English teacher since then. Suddenly, the old man produced the black powder they had originally come for, saying they would share it and must leave as soon as the battle began to escape, while everyone was busy fighting. Before they could finish their conversation, Wang interrupted them about an important meeting. The old man found a magnet among William and Tovar's belongings. Wang realized the magnet was what allowed William to kill the monster so easily, as it somehow disrupted the monster's mind. Wang then told them the story of these monsters, called Tao Tie, which descended from the heavens to earth 20 centuries ago. Since then, the monsters reappear every 60 years in northern China, destroying and consuming everything in their path. They feed their queen well to increase their numbers and aim to dominate the world. The population of the Chinese capital was 2 million people, located about 300 kilometers from the wall. If the monsters consumed large amounts of food, their numbers would grow exponentially, destroying China and spreading across the world. At the same time, General Xiao noticed soldiers missing from the western towers. He asked General Lin, then they moved forward, only to discover the soldiers had been killed, but the monsters hadn't eaten them. As the soldiers moved ahead, General Xiao saw the monster's reflection in his sword and realized a monster was behind him, setting a trap. Suddenly, the monsters began chasing them all at once. General Xiao tried to fend off the monster to save a young woman, but he was severely injured and on the verge of death. The army arrived, but unfortunately it was too late. With his last breath, the general declared that General Lin would take his place after his death, warning her not to underestimate the enemy's intelligence again. They organized a grand funeral for him, and the people, they are upset over the death of their leader and are not lighting up. After a little while, the air situation sent the Emperor of Sense discusses encounters with monsters, which clarified that 60 years ago, a general wrote that the monsters were paralyzed after soldiers attacked them on the mountain, which had a magnet similar to the one with William. They talk about the effect of the magnet on the monsters. To confirm the magnet's effect on the monsters, William thought of capturing a monster using a hook to test it. Here, his friend was very opposed to William's idea and about the battle. They said, "We are not the people for this talk. We take the black powder and fly." From here, Wang Yi begins to apply quantities of sedatives to the traps to capture one of the monsters alive quickly. The monsters began to arrive and tried to climb the walls. The soldiers continued attacking the monsters, and suddenly blades emerged from the walls, cutting through the monsters on the walls. The soldiers attacked the monsters with all their strength. Lin ordered the traps to be fired at the monsters, successfully hitting a large number of them and chaining them. But unfortunately, the monsters quickly realized it was a trap to capture them. They started breaking the chains and traps and managed to escape, except for one. At the same time, Blurred was trying to get them to leave while the battle was ongoing, but his friend refused to leave William behind. William considered selling the Chinese army and escaping, but at the last moment, he decided to return and help capture the monsters. They tried to keep the chained monster away from anything, firing many grenades at the monsters. This created massive fires surrounding the area. William realized the chains wouldn't hold for long, so he threw himself into the monster's location and found it unconscious on the ground. William tied the monster to bring it back, but suddenly another monster appeared and attacked William. Quickly, his friend intervened and saved him from the monster. His friend blamed him for not sticking to the escape plan. Their conversation was interrupted by a large number of monsters, defending themselves and attacking the monsters. Unfortunately, many monsters managed to get through the fire, surrounding and attacking them. But at the right moment, the Chinese army threw grenades at the area, killing many monsters. William and his friend were given a new lease on life. They quickly placed the large monster in a cage, beginning to test the magnet's effect on it. The surprise came when Wang Yi approached the monster with the magnet, and the monster completely stopped moving. This confirmed the magnet's effect on these monsters, which would undoubtedly help them in the battle. The Emperor's envoy requested to take the monster to the Emperor. Wang Yi objected, but he eventually agreed under weak authority. The army discovered significant monster movements in the building. The army moved downward, but was surprised to find a large pit dug by the monsters, a trap to confuse and overpower them. Meanwhile, Blurred and his friend stole the black powder, attempting to escape the Great Wall while the army was busy fighting the monsters. But William stopped them, asking his friend to stay and fight with him, as the situation was dire and involved the world's destruction. His friend responded, "Are you crazy? Do you think these people have a chance to win against the monsters?" While they were talking, an old man dropped a heavy ball on William, causing him to faint. The old man asked his friend to leave William and escape, as it was their only chance. But General Lin quickly learned about the foreigner's escape, becoming very upset with William's betrayal. William claimed he tried to stop his friend from escaping. Lin remained upset, but warrior Bingu testified that he saw William trying to stop his friend from escaping, repaying the favor. Lin ordered the capture of the escaping foreigners and imprisoned William, preventing him from interfering in army matters. Later, Lin attempted to reach the monsters quickly, deciding to use flying balloons for faster movement. However, they were not well tested, causing significant danger. Many died trying to fly with them, leaving only a few soldiers heading toward the monsters. Wang Yi freed William after a short time. William asked what had happened, and the man told him they failed to fortify the wall, allowing the monsters to enter. General Lin ordered his release, then headed to the capital where the monsters gathered. The man continued, saying this was their only chance to kill the queen, as her death would disable the monsters and their followers. Instead of leaving, William decided to warn General Lin, joining her to save humanity from destruction. At the same time, Lin reached the location, finding it filled with monsters attempting to reach the palace. The monsters attacked, and they resisted. Unfortunately, Lin was surrounded by a large number of monsters, but fortunately, William arrived, saving her, pulling her into the air, throwing grenades at the monsters, and returning toward the palace. Meanwhile, Wang Yi devised a plan to tie the monster with many bombs, sending it back to the queen. This gave them a chance to kill the queen with explosives. However, their plan didn't go smoothly, as the monsters discovered their location, killing most of the soldiers. Wang Yi was injured but still alive. Suddenly, a large number of monsters appeared in the underground tunnels. Wang Yi decided to blow himself up with the bombs to kill the monsters and block the path. Wang Yi opened the doors, releasing the monster tied with bombs. The monster quickly moved away from the magnet's influence, just as planned, and headed back to the queen. They climbed inside the tower while Wang Yi stayed behind to guard the magnetic door. William searched for a suitable spot to shoot from. He threw a clock at the queen, but her guards deflected it, causing it to explode midair. William quickly climbed the tower, attempting to kill the queen again, but the queen ordered all the monsters to attack. Wang Yi threw a magnet towards some team members before the monsters could kill them. William tried shooting an arrow at the queen again, but the monsters deflected it, causing it to explode in the air. The queen discovered their location, ordering all monsters there. They were left with only one bomb. William jumped from the window, making a daring leap, fleeing from a large group of monsters chasing them from behind. William threw the magnet at the guards, and Lai Hen threw the spear. Here, the magnet reduced the movement of the monsters, and finally, she entered like a bomb inside the barrier. The queen tries to extinguish the fire, but then a massive explosion occurs, swinging everything. It caused all the monsters to die and fly into the air on top of each other. The surprise was that the queen finally died, and with her death, all the monsters collapsed on top of each other and retreated from the battle. Thus, humans finally won as well. Later on, William stood by the Great Wall and saw his friend Tovar imprisoned after being captured by the Chinese army. William tells his friend that the emperor gave him a choice between his friend Tovar's life or the black powder, the powder they had been searching for since the beginning of the movie and the reason for all the chaos. But William chose his friend's life. He tells him that a true friend cannot be replaced and is far more important than all the money in the world. After that, they set off together on their way back, accompanied by the protection of the Chinese army. General Lin looks at them from atop the wall and bids them farewell. William looks back at her and says goodbye. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive all new updates. See you in the next video. Goodbye.